Why do I feel so emotional and still so disconnected at the same time? Is this just hormones or is it something deeper going on? If these questions have ever crossed your mind, this episode will help you understand why. We're unpacking the emotional highs, lows, and everything in between that come with postpartum and how to navigate them with more clarity and compassion. If you've been feeling overwhelmed, anxious, exhausted, or like you've lost a part of yourself, this episode will help you make sense of it. You're not alone, and there is a way through this. If this episode is triggering for you and you feel you need additional help to process your thoughts or feelings, please call or text the Postpartum Support International Hotline at 1-800-944-4773 or visit them online at postpartum.net. Do you want practical steps to rein in the overwhelm and start feeling like yourself again, but struggle with feeling hopeless, unsupported, and misunderstood? If so, you're in the right place. Hi, I'm Stephanie, wife, mom of 4, and a 2-time acute postpartum depression survivor. I learned the secrets of how to overcome the feeling of drowning and fully thrive as a new mom through life-giving hope and support. If you're ready for validation, encouragement, and those easy practical tips, then take a deep breath in, exhale, and we'll take the first steps together. Here we go. Did you know that I have a free community of mamas just like you? New moms who are struggling to just survive, much less thrive, and are looking for hope, encouragement, and validation? We share life together. There's a short weekly devotion, Winning Wednesday, encouraging quotes, and so much more. There's even chances to win free coffee and prizes each week. Come join us. The link is in the show notes. My oldest daughter's birth in Asia was more than a little traumatic, but we'll skip that part for today. In the end, I didn't have to push long before she arrived, but in those minutes that felt like hours, I truly thought I was dying. I've never experienced pain like that in my life. We found out later that she had a huge head, like an off-the-size chart for baby heads to be exact, so I'm sure that didn't help. It also wasn't great that I tore fully from front to back during the delivery, and they had to spend quite a bit of time stitching me up. Afterwards, they put her on my chest and left me alone with her in the delivery room. And all I wanted was for someone to get her off of me. But no one came. There was no instantaneous love or bonding, no internal rejoicing when they informed me it was a girl, no attempt at breastfeeding this strange being despite having planned to, and no one present to help me for what felt like forever, but in reality was much more likely around about 45 minutes. I don't remember eventually being rolled to my room. I just remember the lasting pain. I had a fleeting thought that this wasn't how it was supposed to be. It's not what you hear from every new mom or what the movies show you, but there wasn't anything I could do about it, so I didn't let the thought take up residence in my head at the time. It just wasn't how I envisioned my introduction to motherhood going. And that's what we are going to touch on today. Why you might feel off after having a baby and what tactical things you can do that can truly help. First, the emotional roller coaster, mood swings, and unexpected feelings. One of the most common and honestly confusing experiences after having a baby is the emotional roller coaster. You might find yourself crying suddenly, even when nothing seems wrong, feeling overstimulated or overwhelmed very quickly, snapping at your partner and then feeling guilty right after. I'm guilty of that. Experiencing joy one moment, like staring at your baby in awe, and then feeling a huge wave of sadness minutes later. This can feel disorienting. You might even catch yourself thinking, why am I like this right now? Honestly, a lot of this is driven by hormonal shifts. Your body has just gone through one of the biggest changes it will ever go through. Estrogen and progesterone levels drop rapidly after birth, and that alone can create intense emotional fluctuations. For example, you could be sitting on the couch feeding your baby, feeling peaceful, and then suddenly tears start falling. Not because anything happened, but because your body is processing a massive internal shift. Or maybe someone asks you a simple question like, what do you want for dinner? And you feel completely overwhelmed by having to make a decision. So what helps here? The first step is just removing judgment. Instead of thinking, what's wrong with me? Try reframing it to something like, this is a hormone shift, not a personal failure. That one shift in language can take away so much shame. Next, create small emotional outlets each day. So record a quick voice note and talk through your feelings. Or write a few sentences in a journal. or text or call a trusted friend and just be honest. These don't have to be long or super structured, just a way to let your emotions move instead of bottling them up. Next is feeling disconnected from yourself or your baby. Another experience many moms don't expect but is incredibly common is feeling disconnected. And I wish someone had told me this before I had my first child. This can look like not feeling like your old self, looking in the mirror and not recognizing who you see, feeling distant from your baby even though you love them, experiencing emotional numbness, like you should feel something but don't. And this can bring a lot of guilt. That was my number one emotion personally with all of this. You might think, why don't I feel more connected? Am I doing something wrong? But here's the truth. Bonding is not always instant, and that's normal. Some moms feel immediate connection the moment their baby is born, just like in a movie. Others feel like they're caring for someone they know they love, but haven't fully connected with yet, and that connection builds gradually over days or weeks. Or you might feel like you're going through the motions, feeding, changing, rocking, but emotionally feel a little flat or distance. What can help is to shift your focus from big feelings to small moments of connection. Do skin-to-skin contact. Make eye contact during feedings. Talking or singing softly to your baby helps. And noticing tiny details like their fingers, their breathing, their expressions. For me, Mama, it was literally when she was asleep in my arms and I looked at the veins in her eyelids and I just felt connected to her, to something bigger than myself. Those were good moments. These small repeated moments are what build connection over time. Also, gently release the expectation of instant bonding. Connection is something that grows, not something you have to force. And just as importantly, give yourself space to reconnect with you. Even tiny moments of self-awareness, like noticing how you feel or what you need, are steps back toward yourself. Third, constant anxiety or something feels wrong energy. Many moms describe this as a constant underlying feeling that something just isn't right, even when everything looks okay on the outside. This can include racing thoughts that won't shut down, a constant sense of worry or unease, feeling on edge like you can't fully relax, or maybe mentally jumping to worst-case scenarios. Your brain is essentially in overdrive trying to protect your baby, but it can go too far and leave you feeling stuck in anxiety. For example, you might finally get your baby down for a nap, but instead of resting, your mind starts going, are they breathing? What if something happens when I'm not watching? Did I do everything right? All completely normal. Or you may feel a constant physical tension in your body, like tight shoulders, shallow breathing, or that buzzing, anxious energy that you can't quite shake. So things that can help with that, start by grounding your body, because anxiety lives in the body, not just the mind. Try simple, quick resets. So, take slow, deep breaths. In for 4 counts, out for 6. Let's try it. In 2, 3, 4, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still do this with my daughter, and it helps her today. Step outside and get fresh air, even for 2 to 3 minutes. If you can do it barefoot, that's a bonus for your brain. Run cold water over your wrist or hold something cold. These small actions can signal to your nervous system that you're safe. Next, reality check your thoughts. Ask yourself, is this a fact or is this fear? And when possible, say your thoughts out loud to someone you trust. Anxiety 100% grows in isolation, but it often softens when it's shared. Number 4. Extreme fatigue that feels different than just being tired. Newborn tired is real, and it is intense, and it is its own kind of tired. But sometimes the fatigue goes beyond what you'd expect from broken sleep. This can feel like being physically drained and emotionally depleted. Feeling like even after rest, you are still running on empty. Struggling to complete simple tasks because everything feels like too much. And a heaviness in your body that doesn't lift. You might look at something small, like folding laundry. Okay, that's not small to me, actually. Or making a quick meal, that's smaller. And feel completely overwhelmed, like it requires more energy than what you literally have to give it. Or you finally get a chance to rest, but instead of feeling restored, you still feel exhausted. almost like your body didn't recharge at all. Instead of trying to do more, focus on protecting your energy. So prioritize one true rest window each day, even if it's just 20 to 30 minutes. Ask someone to help with the baby, let yourself rest without multitasking, and remove pressure to be productive during that time. Also, give yourself permission to reduce non-essential tasks. I actually did not like asking for someone to help me with the baby, even though I use that as an example for you. For me personally, to stay mentally and physically safe, I needed to hold my baby. So this is going to look different for you. You just need to find what works. This is not the season to keep up with everything, to maintain your normal routine, or to meet every expectation. Your only priorities right now are you and your baby, and everything else can wait. And 5, loss of identity or feeling not like yourself. One of the quieter but deeply emotional parts of postpartum is the feeling of losing yourself. I've been through this 4 times, and I have had to find myself 4 times, even the times I didn't go through full-on postpartum depression. You might feel like you don't recognize who you are anymore. You might feel disconnected from the person you were before baby. You might be frustrated with body changes or confidence shifts. And you might feel like your independence, routine, or freedom is gone. And even if you love your baby deeply, you might still grieve parts of your old life, and that's okay. You might think, I used to be so organized, now I can barely get through the day. Or I don't feel confident in my body anymore. Or one that I struggle with, I miss having time to myself. This isn't because you're ungrateful, it's because you're human. What helps? Start by reintroducing small pieces of yourself. Listen to music you used to love. Watch a favorite show. You can do that with or without the baby. Step outside for a few minutes completely alone. And revisit a hobby in a very small, low-pressure way. For me, it was like Izzy on Grey's Anatomy and making muffins. But it really helped, and it connected me to that part of me that I didn't have anymore, which was the former pastry chef part of me. These don't have to be big or time-consuming, just small reminders of who you are. And most importantly, shift this belief. You are not lost, you are in transition. You're not going back to who you were before. You're becoming a new version of yourself, one that includes both you and motherhood. And that takes time, patience, and a lot of grace. So let's recap. Hormones are powerful, and we're going to name them without judging them. Give yourself permission to release the expectation of instant bonding. Find ways to ground your body, like deep breathing, fresh air, cold water, whatever works for you. Reduce non-essential tasks and protect your energy in this season at all costs. And most importantly, give yourself permission to evolve. If you feel off after having a baby, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means something big has changed, and it has. And with the right support, patience, and care, you can find your way back to feeling like yourself again. Maybe even a stronger, deeper version of yourself, like I have. There is hope, Mama, and I am living proof of that. Remember, if today's episode was triggering for you and you feel you need additional help to process your thoughts or feelings, please call or text the Postpartum Support International hotline at 1-800-944-4773. You can also find their contact information in the show notes for each of my episodes and on their website by going to postpartum.net.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed today's episode of my mom's show.
If so, would you take 30 seconds and share it with a mom friend who may be struggling to feel like herself and is in need of some encouragement today?
Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. It blesses my mom's heart to know this podcast is helping you.
Okay, time to go change a diaper and do the school run. I'll meet you back in a few days for another episode.
Take care.